Yo, what is going on, everyone? Thank you for joining me for another manga chapter review. And in today's video, we're going to be going ahead and taking a look at the most recent chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, chapter 181, titled Tokyo Number 2 Colony, Part 1. And before we jump into the video, guys, I want to go ahead and say thank you guys so much for all the recent support on all of my recent videos. You guys have just been absolutely going crazy on my videos and showing support, as well as let me know your guys' thoughts for each video down in that comment section below. I just can't thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have been showing me, and just seeing how, as we're almost at 200 subscribers this early on into my I guess you can say YouTube career. It's just very awesome to see and just mind-blowing, honestly. Like, I still can't believe when I look at my subscribers, I see as many as I do. So I just can't thank you guys enough for all your guys' amazing support. It just truly is as like heartfelt for me, and I don't think I can thank you guys enough. But I think a good way to start is just by continuing to bring you guys anime and manga related content, which, if you guys are new to the channel and love anime and manga as much as I do, you should consider sticking around and hitting that subscribe button, as it will greatly help out the channel, and as well as it will keep you informed on all the new videos I upload. So without further ado, guys, let's just go ahead and jump into chapter 181. Starting chapter 181 off, we are shown the visitor receipt, with the name of which being Charles Bernard. With ominous conversation taking place about the visitor, they say how this is a foreign kid. Transitioning back to Yuta upon his victory over Ishigori, we hear conversation between Yuta and Uro. Uro telling Yuta that he will be the one who reaches his limit. Yuta, not really giving too much attention to her statement, responds by telling her that no matter everything he's seen, the only ones able to transcend beyond being strong are those with overwhelming sense of self. Natural disasters. Continuing on, we see Yuta sitting beside a defeated Ishigori, with Ishigori telling him that sparing sorcerers who'd fight to the death is useless. This meaning that Yuta did in fact spare both Uro and Ishigori in their battle. With Ishigori asking if Uro is still alive, he essentially answers his own question by stating that it only makes sense considering the strength of the blast. With the two having more casual chat, Ishigori asks Yuta to look after Uro, but Yuta says that anything he says to her will end in violence, because unlike her, he is blessed. Now with Yuta asking for both Ishigori and Uro's points, Ishigori suspects that had this rule not been implemented, he would have killed them both. Yuta, playing coy, says, "Would I?" before telling him, "You should thank my friends for that." Yuta now receiving their points, Yuta now has a total of 200 points from Ishigori as well as Uro. As we transition from Yuta and the other revived sorcerers, we briefly see a panel of what is suspected to be Miwa. Now making our way back to, as odd as this may sound, Shueisha, we are greeted by the ongoing conversation between two individuals going on, asking questions such as, "Do you have serialization experience, and have you been published?" The other man replies in very elusive answers. We finally get to see this man, named Charles Bernard, as he is an aspiring manga creator that is being interviewed. Continuing to be asked numerous questions within the interview, Charles persists on giving very unique and elusive answers. This is made apparent further when the man conducting the interview for Charles's manga gives him much unwanted criticism. With back and forth between the interviewer and Charles about the subject matter of his manga and his ideas as a whole, Charles begins to become annoyed. Feeling as though the interviewer cannot see the genius behind the manga, he tells him that we are a shonen magazine after all, and telling him that mixing different genres will weaken the story's core. When asked about the art style and why the character's finger is pointed a certain way, Charles takes the liberty of taking the man's finger and snapping it sideways. Frustrated at the man's ignorance at his creativity, now gives him a rather dark comparison, telling the man that if it's realism he cares about, then he should watch a live-action movie or photos. Charles, now cutting his losses and leaving the Shueisha building, is left to ponder on the man's questions asked during the interview. What the hell is it? What is manga? What is a mangaka? Being brought to the present, Charles, now being accompanied by HAKARI, asks him if he has figured out the answer yet. HAKARI giving a nonchalant reply, "Hell if I know." The two are now left in a Ferris wheel, left to conversate about how they both have come to this unfortunate set of circumstances. Charles asking if Tokyo will ever go back to how it was before, HAKARI answers that this is being the final scene. He wants to watch from afar. Also telling him that ever since curses have filled Tokyo, no one has published any manga. Showing his utmost respect for mangakas, HAKARI tells him that all motivations for fighting in the culling game are negative, and that to help with his manga, he should give a positive reason to his readers. Asking HAKARI to give him a reason to hate him, and a reason to want to kill him to further his work, HAKARI throws insults at the saddened Charles by telling him, "I wouldn't read your manga if you begged me to." Finally telling him stop whining and go all out, you disgusting otaku. As the final panel begins to end, Charles, hearing HAKARI's words, begins to cry, while telling him, "Why'd you have to say something so awful?" HAKARI, invoking emotions deep within Charles, now sets forth to do battle with the angered mangaka. Will HAKARI continue to torment Charles uncontested with his words, or will Charles be able to overcome his writer's block and show HAKARI his burning passion for manga? And alright guys, that is going to go ahead and wrap up the synopsis of chapter 181. Now let's go ahead and jump on over into my review and thoughts for the chapter as a whole. And man, was this chapter absolutely awesome, guys. I really enjoyed this chapter, just off the rip saying that. I really liked how they didn't kill off Uro and Ishigori. I found that to be pretty comical, because I feel like I almost got vindicated in a sense, right? Because I made a video, if you guys didn't check it out, why I think, or why I do believe Junpei will return to the series in some way, shape, or form. And I feel like Yuta almost sparing Ishigori and Uro sort of kind of gives that depth of, like, you know, even though they are revived, putting them back to rest wouldn't be too, like, it's not necessary. Even though Yuta was only after their points, and he probably would have killed them had they not given them their points, it does stand to reason that, like, you know, we get to see more of Yuta as a character, and even though he is this overpowered, like, beast tank, he is just, like, still a kid, and, like, he's still just, like, a good guy at the end of the day. But I feel like with these revived sorcerers, we can start to see more deceased sorcerers from other generations starting to become apparent, not maybe if not in the culling game, afterwards. So I think, like, seeing more revived entities only gives my, like, theory a little bit more validity and credence. But you know, it's just a theory at the end of the day. But I just really I like that aspect, and I also really like that they didn't kill them, because I like Ishigori a lot. Within the past few chapters, he's really grown on me, and I really liked his character as a whole. He's just a really cool character. But that's just Jujutsu Kaisen in general, right? I can't nitpick any of the characters. They're all really, really cool. So I'm very happy that we'll get to see more of Ishigori and Uro. So that will be very, very interesting within the upcoming chapters. And unlike last week, we won't have a break this time for Jujutsu Kaisen, so we will get to see even more next week. So that is going to be very, I would say interesting, but I've said interesting way too many times, but that'll be very cool to see. But I also like how they sort of did like a comedy sort of twist with Charles Bernard, him being a aspiring mangaka and having like a I don't want to say a false sense of what his mangas should be, but he just has like his own very unique and direct way of how he wants his mangas to be. And I like that, and I like how his power is going to be born from manga, right? I feel like it's just so like wacky, right? Like I can't remember his name, but you guys remember the guy who fought alongside Fushiguro against Reggie and his like sort of partner in the previous chapters, the guy who, if he like the comedian who, if he created a scenario in his head, it would come to reality. So I think we could see a very similar cursed ability for Charles in the form of him, like with him getting inspiration of manga and what he believes like manga could be. That could be like how his power gauges or something like that. I'm not very sure on how Gigi Akutami is going to handle that power, that cursed technique of his, but I am so ready to see what that is, because this could be actually the most interesting power curse technique we've seen in the series so far, even though we've seen quite a few and they've all been very interesting in their own right. Very, very hyped to see what his is going to be, as well as the fight with HAKARI. So there's just a lot to look forward to with Jujutsu Kaisen. So this chapter did not disappoint at all. I'm going to give this chapter a 10 out of 10. I really like the backstory of Charles Bernard. I like him because he's just kind of like a guy that just really wants to pursue his dreams, and even though to others it's seeming like he doesn't really know what he wants, he doesn't really understand like what it means to be a mangaka, he kind of has his own definition of it, right? Through what he like believes and what he looks up to, despite what other people say to him. That, you know, that's proof enough when he bent the dude's finger in the interview. So he has very strong beliefs, and I like that, despite his character itself being rather quirky, to say the least. So, I mean, yeah, guys, I don't really think I have anything too much to say about the chapter. It was a pretty short and concise chapter. I guess another thing I could say is I like how they showed us a quick glance of Miwa walking towards like somewhere in the she's walking somewhere. I'm not quite sure. We only see her 2 panels, but I'm very interested to see, because you have to believe that she is pissed off after the events that unfolded in the Shibuya incident arc. So with Todo getting his arm cut, or his hand cut off rather, and a lot of the her classmates being involved in that fight, definitely probably took a mental toll on her, as well as her respect for Gojo, right? Him being sealed and her having such a huge respect for him and adoration for him, she's probably really pissed off and really wants to get enough points to really try to maybe help Gojo break out of the prison realm. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video there, guys. If you guys did like today's video, please go ahead and hit that like button. And if you are new to the channel and like anime and manga as much as I do, please consider sticking around and hitting that subscribe button, as we are only 12 subscribers away from hitting 200 subscribers. I still can't believe it, guys, but I'm not going to ramble on any more about that. So yeah, guys, if you guys did enjoy today's chapter for Jujutsu Kaisen and want to let me know your theories and your thoughts, go ahead and leave them down in the comments section below. I read all comments and I reply to all comments, so I'm very curious to see what you guys have to say about this chapter. And yeah, guys, I'm going to end the video there, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. See ya!